Okay, everybody. So here we are. We have David Woods versus Johnny Chu. AOBS versus No Idea. Unfortunately, like some of the video got a little corrupted and everything beforehand, but yeah, we're in the middle of David's second turn. He has the hand of 4 out with Captain Harris Andula and Admiral Radis. See, there is a projection of Skywalker going down to the Coruscant, Shizor's Palace. Johnny already has the Vigo, Shizor's Palace, Shizor, as well as the Emperor Palpatine on the table. Johnny currently flipped as well, so at least he's going to do some damage. We did see that David went ahead and drained up in space at Coruscant. Johnny ended up losing Jango Fett and Aura Singh. And here we go into Johnny's third turn. He's going to activate, and then he's going to take a card with Emperor Palpatine. Going to go try and get Force Lightning. Johnny going to put a card back into his use pile. I'm assuming it's the Force Lightning here. That's going to allow him to take a look and peek at what is in his force pile. Pretty strong little mechanic there. Again, he's still in his activate phase. David's going to lose a point of force in Johnny's control phase from the 7th side of his objective. But he's still checking a look at his force pile, seeing what he wants to get in there. Being that he has the Emperor on the table, he'll be able to start using Shadow of the Empire. That way he can start drawing cards off the top of his force pile at any point. And being that he knows what's in there, he should have a clear idea of what he wants to get to. Dave already has out his grabber, the Goldenrod shield, and do or do not. Johnny just has the grabber out. Still in Johnny's activate phase, as he again is looking at what he wants in his force pile. There's the point of damage from the objective. And he pulls out the and then he pulls out Secret Plans. Make Dave start paying to retrieve if he wants to. Dave ended up losing Saw Gerrera off the top of his reserve deck to the ping damage. Johnny's still in his control phase here. Johnny, again, is a very deliberate kind of a player. And I will say from experience, I think this matchup does favor the Agents of Black Sun player. They're able to do a lot of just little ping damage here and there, as well as setting up for like maybe some beatdowns. Like I like the idea of Johnny going down to the Masasi War Room, try and drain there, make Dave put some good characters out there. That way he has to go and fight at that site, especially it being a drain of 0 for him. Johnny went ahead and deployed the Shizor's Palace Sewer. And he's still in his deploy phase here. And he's going to throw down the first light down to Scarif. Interesting move. Might see Jonny then play Battle Order. That way he's going to make David pay to drain for 2 at Coruscant. Zam Wessel as a pilot. Using 8 of the force that he has in his force pile. Now he's going a little bit light. David earlier in the game was able to get the Rogue One into hand. Don't know if Jonny... Now, again, Johnny's not the type of player to really forget what an opponent does during their turn. But him going down with just Zam here is a little light. Like, I would like to see maybe a character or 2 more. Jonny is going to use Shadows of the Empire to take a card into hand. And then once he establishes himself on 3 battlegrounds, it's going to do a point of ping damage every turn to David. As the Emperor will move over, joining Shizor and the Vigo over at the palace. And there's Battle Order from Jonny. And Johnny's just going to draw some other cards. Do expect David to drain here. He did save 3 force after his last turn, so he's going to have 19 to work with. I think the best move for him is maybe to establish himself at the beach. Maybe grab the Stardust effect. That way he can start doing some damage with that. But yeah, if he's able to establish himself at the beach, start draining for 2 there, start draining for 2 open space still, he's going to do quite a little bit of damage. Jonny does activate. And he's going to put a card back from his use pile to take a look and see what is in his force pile. And while he's on the 7th side of his objective, he can just keep doing that once each turn. Again, Jonny just taking his time, figuring out what he wants to do with his cards in his deck. As we see him now go into his control phase. I'm sorry, David went into his control phase, and David skips past the... He does not drain at Coruscant. Interesting. He does check out and see what the 9 cards in his reserve deck are. Again, I do like him setting up at the beach. We know that there's 2 characters already in Johnny's Lost pile. Arsing being one of them. And then once David flips here, if he does flip, he's going to be able to start putting characters out of play to cancel weapon targeting. So, and this again is a deck that David knows how to play. I played against him playing this deck, so definitely a deck that I expect him to do well with. Same with Jonny. Jonny has played Ages of the Black Sun numerous times before. As we see Commander Melshi going down to the Scarif Data Vault. And he's going to pull Taidu Selfla from his reserve deck. And see where Taidu is going to go. Again, with make 10 men feel like 100, all of his spies deploy -1 to Scarif. And there's Taidu going down to the beach. David's saying whoops. Not sure what the whoops for. As Taidu is going to allow him to draw the bottom card of his use pile. And I like what Dave is doing. Like, he's establishing himself on Scarif. He's establishing himself at a position where he can drain for 2 up in space. I mean, he's got Admiral Radis and Captain Harris and Dula up there. I do want to see him go a little bit, deploy a little bit more characters down to the beach, though. I mean, Jonny is on the 0 side, or I'm sorry, he's on the 7 side of his objective. Oh, maybe it's he did not want to flip. John McFarland points that out in the chat. Yeah, once he flips, he's not allowed. He's not able to deploy like starships or any more Scarif locations from his deck. As we see, Melshi grabs Stardust, just like in the movies. Corporal Powell going down as well. Again, David is just thinking about what he wants to do here, taking his time. Do expect to see Melshi move from the data vault to the beach here. Don't want to don't necessarily want to leave him alone just yet. Still in David's deploy phase. Again, he's taking some time here. And then there's the Rogue One going down to Scarif in front of the first light. Torn Far is the pilot. David using the nice AI image. And there's a barrier from Jonny. So no battling with the Rogue One right now. Can't battle it. You can't move with it. Can't really do a lot with it right now. Now David's going to want to back up whatever he what he has with the Rogue One. You don't necessarily just want to leave the Rogue One with Torn Far up there by itself. It does have some immunity, but that's not a lot of power. Okay, Ray going down as a pilot as well. That's going to allow Dave to pull a card out of his use pile. Dave with 12 cards in his use pile at this point. Now, I like what he's going on. Again, Ray, she's forfeit. She's got decent forfeit. Torn Far's got decent forfeit as well. If he could get Wedge Antilles, Red Squadron Leader on there, he could cancel. He could actually cancel some Battle Destinies. Okay, so he decided on what card he wants to take out. Shuffles up his use pile. Still in his deploy phase, so he could theoretically deploy a character or 2 more. And big kind of a risk there by Dave. Being that Jonny had the Imperial Barrier, if he barriered Melshi, like, that could have been kind of big, like just making him stay at the data vault. Then I would assume that David wouldn't go with Taidu and Corporal Powell down to the beach. Action is still on Dave at this point. As again, he is taking his time, figuring out what he wants to do. And there's Wedge Antilles, Red Squadron Leader. Yep, just now he is not a pilot, he's a passenger. However, being that Torn Far and Ray are now Rogue Squadron pilots because they're piloting Rogue One, Dave can cancel any Battle Destiny that's up there. So that's pretty loaded up Rogue One. as we see him move from his move out of the deploy phase and into his battle phase. And my only concern is Dave is looking a little light at the on the ground. So he is still flipped, but being that he's got Melchi, Taidu, and Pao only, like, and especially with like a 10 card hand, it's kind of light. Now, Jonny, on the other hand, he's going to activate 16. He's going to have 18 to work with. He's got a 13 card hand. The only damage he's doing right now is with the objective. I do expect to see him go down to a third battleground this turn. Maybe do a Shadows Ping, get some extra damage going, but we'll see. As Johnny's going to... he's going to use the objective for the ping damage first. Again, Dave has to lose a card here. He's going to lose the Lightmaker from the top of his reserve deck. Kind of not a card you want to lose. Like, if Johnny's playing the Falling's Fist, that thing has immunity, like really big immunity to attrition. It's not an easy starship to get out of space. Jonny taking a look and seeing what is in his force pile at this point. Counting up, seeing where every little piece of force is. Seeing which which is the best one for him to draw with the Shadows of the Empire at some point. Again, right now, Dave is threatening 5 points of damage, drain of 2 up at Coruscant, drain of 2 at the beach, and then the Stardust Ping as well. Don't know what Jonny wants to do about that right now, but we shall see. Okay, IG-88 with Riot Gun going down to the beach. Again, Dave has 2 cards saved. One of them probably for like a Rebel Barrier, another one for another Rebel Barrier. Maybe he's got the Hujiks in here, just in case. Dr. Evazan and Ponda coming down as well. That's a pretty good card. Jonny with 10 power already to Dave's 14. Dengar with Blaster, okay. Dengar with Blaster Carbine. Jonny with essentially 3 shots of a weapon. I do expect to see one of them get canceled. I know that Saw is the only character in Dave's loss pile at this point, but you don't really necessarily want to see a lot like any of those characters get hit, because then it would just go lost. The nice thing is each of them are defense value +2 with the 7 side of the objective. Jonny is getting +2. He's getting +3 to the total attrition, being that he's on the 7 side of his objective. Oh, Jonny with the first strike. Okay. That's not a card you really want to see if you're Dave. Like, I know you got the 2 force, so it's not as bad as it could be. Okay, Dave does pull the aim high shield, so that's going to make Jonny pay 1 to retrieve 1. Dave is going to lose 1 to the first strike, though. Jonny takes a card with Shadows of the Empire, and that's going to make Dave lose a force. And he'll lose, okay, Leia Organa V going to off the top of the reserve deck. Again, another character that he can put out of play to cancel a weapon. Although Jonny is getting 2 Destiny there now. Dave loses a Rebel Leadership, and okay, he's going to play Keep Your Eyes Open to make Jonny make it so that weapons can't be fired. He'll lose a force. He loses the indoor commander team. And Jonny has the sense and uncertain is the future. So, not something that you want to. That's not good. Jonny draws a 6 for it. Now, do or do not is on the table, so the sense will go lost as well as 2 other cards. But more importantly, keep your eyes open is canceled. Jonny loses a double back from his hand. And the Emperor Palpatine that he drew for Destiny. There goes the Keep Your Eyes Open. And there goes the Sense as well. Dengar will take a shot at Taidu. And Dave will cancel it with the objective. Let's see who he puts out of play here. He's going to put Leia out of play. Interesting. Okay, so there's 1 shot. Jonny with 2 more shots, essentially. He's got 1 left with Dengar. And then he's still got the IG-88 with Riot Gun, who has the possibility of capturing. Just as, okay, Antilles maneuver from Dave. So that's going to make Jonny pay 1 to shoot. He's got the force for it, though. I don't know if I like that play. Like, you know, Jonny has the 3 force there. And if he hits... Okay, Jonny is peeking at the top 3 cards of his reserve deck now, so he'll know what to do with the next 2 shots. And like I said, he's got the force to pay for the Antilles maneuver. This could be really bad for Dave. Dengar is going to take a shot at Taidu. Draws a 6. Yeah, that's going to hit Taidu. Yep. Taidu is hit, and Dr. Evzen and Ponda Bonba will operate. Okay, so that's going to take away 4 power. Taidu does go to the lost pile, and that's going to allow Dave to draw the bottom part of his used pile. Action does move over to Dave. And goes back to Jonny. Johnny's probably going to fire with the riot gun here, even though it's going to cost him 1 point of force to do it. And he's going to attempt to capture Corporal Powell. Draws a 3 plus the 1. Oh, he's got the close call. Oh. Okay, so Jonny cancels his own destiny, causes a redraw, and draws a 2. Okay, it's a 4 with the quietly observing. That's going to capture Corporal Powell. That's... I mean, Melshi has a decent amount of forfeit here, but Johnny's getting 2 destiny. He's up by 9 in power. Draws a 4 for the first destiny. Draws a 3, so 20 to 4. Yeah, down by 16. Forfeits 10. And yeah, even with the chat saying, even if he has the Hojix, he's going to have to peel 10 because he doesn't have the force. So there goes Ensign Chad Hilsey. No, he's taking Ensign Chad Hilsey from the reserve deck. Dave saying, oh, ha, ha, ha. As he loses the Leia's resistant transport. Oh, what is Dave saying now? Well, that was dumb of me. There goes, I don't like sand. Yeah, Dave's peeling. Like, I mean, I mean, he's got a peel here, and it's not good. General Aaron Kraken, Jaron Webb, Sabotage V, Chirut, Han Shuing the Falcon, Free Ride Combo, and Jin Urso Heroic Rebel. I wonder if he had the Hojiks there. Uh, so Johnny's going to land the first light, as it is a ship that moves like a starfighter, so you can move it down to a site. Zam probably going to get off here. That's just, that is just, you hate to see it. Like, you hate to see a mistake like that cost you like 10 force there. Yep. Zam disembarks from the first light, joining IG-88, Dr. E, and Dengar all at the beach. Yeah, I think at this point, Johnny can just start doing some drain damage here. I think if you're Dave, you gotta start draining up in space. Like, I know you're gonna pay for it, but you gotta do as much damage as you can. Johnny's sitting at 28 in life force. Oof. As we see, Dave activates everything. And, like, you gotta think Johnny's just gonna lose from hand if Dave drains at Coruscant. Yep, we go into Dave's control phase. Johnny does activate one. Both players with 6 cards in their hand. Again, Dave is just thinking about what he wants to do here. See how he can recover after that 10 and overflow beatdown at the Scarif Beach. Again, action is still on Dave here. Just taking his time, thinking about what he wants to do. Maybe taking a breather or two. Again, Johnny is the higher seed right now, so he did decide to go with Darkside first, making Dave play with his no idea deck. I mean, as of right now, we have Connor Britton advancing to the top 4 over AJ Hatum. See Dave draw a card with Ray off the bottom of his force pile. And we see, okay, Bay's going down to the sewer. Ensign Chad Hilsey. Oh, okay. Luke Skywalker, V going down as well. Dave utilizing the really nice just PC AI card. That does flip Johnny back to the 0 side. Not necessarily where you want to put Luke in this game. You don't necessarily want to have him on the ground. So, but at this point, you kind of got to. Ezra coming down as well. And that's all that Dave has left in his force pile. So, throws down everybody to the Coruscant sewer. Or, I'm sorry, to the Shizor's Palace sewer. Probably going to be Dave's turn after this. Yep, Johnny's going to draw a card with Shadows of the Empire. Johnny with 30. He's going to go back up to 28 by putting the Forest Lightning back into his deck. Johnny with 34 hand in life. Dave with 16. Oof. As Dave passes turn, Ezra triggers. Now Johnny can decide, is he going to take 2 less force during his activate phase, or is he going to allow Dave to activate? And he's going to allow Dave to activate up to 2. That's nice of Johnny. Guess Johnny wants to have all 16 force to work with on his turn. Dave does activate 2. Johnny activates his 16. And let's see what he's going to do. Is he going to drain for 2 at the beach here? He's still in his activate phase. Both players with over 24 minutes at this point. Dave sitting at about 25. Johnny just under 30 minutes left. Do not expect to see this game go to time. Although both players are being extremely deliberate with their turns at this point. As we see somebody in the chat say, okay, Sean Lux saying hidden weapons time. That would really not be good for Dave. Okay, here we go. Johnny does drain at the beach for 2. Let's see where Dave loses this 2 force from. He's got 13 in his life force. He's got 3 in his hand. He's going to lose he's going to lose Escape Pod and We're Doomed and Odin Nestler and First Strike, both from his reserve deck. Johnny with 13 cards left in his force pile. He's got 12 left in his force or reserve deck as well. Getting Johnny actions on Johnny Chu. One of the best players of all time. And Johnny goes into his deploy phase. He checks out his reserve deck. Gives Dave a free verify. Again, Dave has the possibility of doing a decent amount of damage on his next turn. He's showing 5 points of damage with drains at the sewer, drains at Coruscant, and then drains at Scarif. And Johnny just taking his time here. Oh, okay. Here comes another Aura Sing going down to the sewer. Boba Fett V going down as well. Don't see a lot of Boba Fett V in Agents of the Black Sun. Johnny takes a card with his force pile. He's got 4 force left to take, and Dave's just going to lose Bright Hope from hand. And Johnny will initiate. So he can pay 1 to retrieve 1. Dave is going to lose 1 here. Johnny retrieves the Sense and Uncertain is the Future. Dave loses Bodhi Rook from his deck. Johnny will exchange a card from his reserve deck with Boba Fett. So he's going to put a card from his hand into his reserve deck here and take a card out. Yeah, Hidden Weapons could be the card. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if it's hidden weapons. Being that he's playing this version of Boba Fett. R. Singh is going to take a shot at Ensign Chad Hilsey. Dave can't do anything. Yep, that's going to hit. And he's going to be forfeit 0. Action is on Dave. Yep. Ensign Chad is hit. Action now moves over to Dave. Expect to see Baze shoot somebody, or attempt to shoot somebody here. Yep, Baze is going to take a shot at Aura Singh. Draws a 2. That's not going to do it. Although Dave is able to retrieve one with Make 10 Men Feel Like 100, as he does pay for the retrieval. He does retrieve Bodhi. And there's the hidden weapons. It's going to target Luke. Dave grabs the hidden weapons. And 3, I believe that's a capture. 0 through 1 is nothing. 2, 3 is a capture. 4, 5 is a hit. 6 plus is immediately lost, if my memory serves correct. And it's Boba Fett Bounty Hunter that he draws. Yep. Luke is now captured. And with Luke being captured, that's going to flip Jonny back to the 7 side of his objective. Yep. Jonny now on the 7 side. Let's see. Action does move back over to Dave. But we pass, and there's another hidden weapons for Destiny. Believe the attrition is going to be a 4. Dave draws Leia resistant transport for a 3. So Dave actually wins the battle, but he's going to end up losing at least 2 characters here. Yep, he's going to lose Baze here. As we did see that Jonny ended up losing Aura Singh. Baze takes a shot, draws a 4. Does not do it as Boba has an armor of 4. I'm sorry, as armor of 5. So now it's just Ezra Bridger staring down Boba Fett. So I do expect to see Boba probably move here. Maybe have the Emperor move over with him. Dave plays perimeter scan, getting out a shield, probably just to put a card back. He's only got 1 in hand now. Wise advice hitting the table. Oh, okay, so Shizor moves over with Boba. And Jonny passes his turn. Now, Dave is going to be able to drain for 5 still, as he has Ezra Bridger still left on the table. Jonny's going to put a card back with the objective, bringing his life force up to 29. Oof. Dave with 2 cards in hand. Jonny with 3. There's a drain for 2 at the sewer. Jonny loses the Falling's Fist from use pile. And Imperial Decree V. Drains for 2 up in space. There goes a Gick from hand. And Ellis Hellrot off the top of the reserve deck. Interesting. Dave drains for 1 over at Scarif. And Jonny will lose Sense and Uncertain is the Future. So it looks like he likes those 2 cards that are in his hand. See what Dave can do here. I like that he's draining. He's getting in some damage. He tries to retrieve a Corellian with the sewer. No card is in there. I believe it's what Dash. Dash isn't in the deck. Han's not in the deck because he's playing Han Chewie and the Falcon. Corn Horn is actually a Corellian. He is going to place Walkling out of play, so he's going to retrieve Chad Hilsey. So Dave's going to stick around a little longer here at least. And Captain Cassian Andor goes down to the Imperial Square. Kind of want to see maybe Hera shuttle down. Unless that other character, other card is a character in his hand. Like, you can't just leave Cassian by himself. And Dave's just going to draw up. Okay. Jonny draws a card from his force pile. Dave still drawing. Dave sitting at 7 in Life Force, 6 in hand. Jonny, 3 in Life Force, 24 in hand. I'm sorry, 24 in Life Force, 3 in hand. Numbers, big. So Jonny activates his 16 after we see that he does allow Dave to activate some. Jonny putting a card back into his deck. He's got 25 now in Life Force, 2 in hand. He's going to make Dave lose 2 force with the objective and probably going to save him drain for 2 more at the beach. That would leave Dave with 9 total. As we see Dave play another shield with perimeter scan. Jonny's going to grab it just to make Dave essentially lose a card here. As we see him play Ultimatum. Does not come into play right now. Jonny's still in the control phase. There's the 2-point of damage with the Vengeance of the Dark Prince. Dave loses Leia Resistant Transport and Antilles Maneuver, both from hand. There's a drain of 2 at the beach. As we see Dave lose Rebel Leadership and Bodhi Rook. 1 from hand, 1 from reserve deck. Dave draws a card with Rey. Jonny drains for 1 at the uplink station. And there goes Lieutenant Blount. Dave with just 7 cards left in hand in life. Jonny's going to draw a card. Again, another point of damage to Dave. And there goes Chad Hilsey. And P-59 is going to go down to the sewer. Dave plays Antilles Maneuver. He plays it in the into the deploy phase. So that's going to cost Jonny 1 point of force to use P-59's game text and fire his cannons at Ezra. See Jonny check out the top 4 cards of his reserve deck. He gets to see what order they are in, whether or not he wants to shoot Ezra or not. And probably going to see Jonny initiate here. Nope. He's going to look with the Emperor to take a Force Lightning. No Force Lightning in his no Force Lightning in the reserve deck. Try saying that 5 times fast. And here we go. Jonny does initiate. He'll pay 1 to retrieve 1. He retrieves the Sense and Uncertain is the Future. Dave has to lose 1 here. And Dave will lose Commander Willard from his hand. P59 is going to shoot at Ezra. Draws a 2. That's going to miss. And as we go to Destiny, Destiny is a 3 for Jonny, bringing his total up to 7. And Dave draws a 2. That's not going to crack the immunity of P59. But fortunately, Ezra does cover the battle damage. And Jonny does not have to lose the Droideka. As we see Ezra Bridger go to the lost pile. Jonny's going to play Resistance. That's going to block, cap the drain at the Imperial Square down to 2. Dave with 5 life force in hand. Jonny sitting at 27 life force in hand. Like, you can drain Jonny for 2, but you got to think he's just going to lose it from his hand. Like, I think if you're Dave, maybe just draw up here. That way, if you draw, you have 30 cards in your lost pile instead of having 4. Well, I'd just at least draw 1 if you're going to drain. But again, like I said, Jonny's just going to lose from his hand. And then he can just pay to drain out. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep. Dave's going to draw, or I'm sorry, Dave's going to drain. There goes the She's Bounty and Boba Fett Bounty Hunter, both from Jonny's hand. Still think Dave should at least draw that one last card. As he recirculates and is going to pass over to Jonny. So that's going to be it. Jonny Chu is going to win game 1 by 25. Ouch. Like I said, it's like I said, this is not a favorable match for the No Idea player. But losing that battle by 10 really put Dave into a kind of behind the 8 ball. As we see, Jonny does drain Dave out. So Dave with 34 in the lost pile, Jonny with 12, and Jonny plus 25. Thank you all for watching. It has been a pleasure. We'll see more of you guys with more action of the Jawa Cup Top 8. Take care, everybody.